Here is a document in which I want to type in more than one language. Right now, I'm only able to type in English. Let me increase the font size so that it's more visible. So I'm able to type in English. I want to start typing in Hindi. So how do I go about doing this? On the right hand side top, we see EN or an indication of English. I click on that, and at the bottom I get text entry settings. I can click on that text entry settings, and it allows me to add more ways in which I can type. In this case, I want to type in Hindi. So I look for Hindi in this search box, and I choose this Kagapa phonetic and click on add. Let me just repeat how I did that. Let me this time use a different language. Let me close this. I click on this, choose text entry settings, use the plus sign and choose a language. In this case, this time I'm choosing Kannada and click on add. So that will add to this list. Right now I'm having 3 languages. I used to have only one. I used to have 3, and now I have 3 languages. So that's how I can add different languages to this setting. Let me close this. Now I've typed something in English. Let me now try and type something in Hindi. So I click on this and choose Hindi and try and type something in Hindi. I was able to type. So that's as simple as that. However, sometimes I may have trouble if the appropriate font is not installed. So I was able to type in English by default. By changing or adding Hindi to this list, I was able to type in Hindi. So let me see how Kannada works. So I'm chosen Kannada. Now I'm trying to type Bharat again. So we notice I'm unable to type because the appropriate fonts are not installed for my language. So and sometimes there are chances that even Hindi will not appear or will appear like as this. And in such cases, what we need to do is install the font. There are many ways to install fonts, but we are choosing to do it in the most easiest way in this video. Let me minimize this or close LibreOffice without saving. One of the easiest way to get fonts is search your computer for, I need to type here, I don't want to type in Kannada, so I'll change it back to English. Look for language support. When I look for language support, I get this software, and it tells me for the very first time when I launch language support, it asks me to install this language support. So let me click on the details. There are many things that it will install which I need. So I click on install, and depending on your internet speed, this may take some time to finish. I authenticate this by typing my password. Let me keep the details on so that I know exactly what is getting installed over here. It's not downloading files that are required for LibreOffice and other programs. Is making some changes to the configuration on my computer automatically, which is why we choose this method, because it's one of the easiest ways to install font. Now it installed a few things. Is that sufficient for me to start typing in Kannada? Let me just test it and we'll come back and install a language here. There is this button called install language using which I can install Kannada, but this amount of installation that just finished just now, is that enough? So let me just check that. Choose Kannada. So we see it's still not sufficient. Let me close it back and install the font. Install or remove languages. What I'm looking for is Kannada, so I scroll down and choose Kannada, put a check mark and apply. So this will download the fonts that are required for typing in Kannada. So let me show you the details. We see fonts here. So looks like we are done. Kannada is appearing here. So let me close that. I don't need to make any other changes there. Now let me test if I will be able to type in Kannada. So Kannada is already chosen as the font here, and let me increase the font size so that it's legible. So that's Kannada, that's fine. Now let's say I want to go from Kannada to Hindi to English. I don't need to use the mouse and click on this every time. I just need to use the super key in combination with the space bar. So I press super space on my keyboard and see how this language changes from Kannada to the next language, which is in this case English. So it cycles through all these three languages when I press super space. So super space and it's changed to English. So now I type India. I press super space again. Now it's become Hindi and I type in Hindi. So we can go on adding as many languages as we want here by going to text entry setting, and if a particular font is not appearing properly, we need to go back to language support and install that language in order to continue typing.